Welcome to Quick Summary and Review, where I talk about a new box and if it is worth your gems or not. Today we are talking about TACHYON of a Galaxy. Let's have a look at the archetypes. First of all is of course the Galaxy Photon stuff. The most notable thing other than the new boss monster is Hyper Galaxy. This card is crazy. It not only gives you access to Galaxy Ice Photon Dragon more consistently, it's also a quick effect that gets rid of an opponent's monster on the field that you can use in both players' turn. Galaxy Soldier is also pretty good for searching your Galaxy monsters as well. Next are the zombies. Balerdrock and Banshee are in this box, which means Zombie World is finally a playable deck. What makes Balerdrock good is not only its good on field effect to both negate a monster effect and banish a monster, it's also because of how easy it is to summon it over and over again from the graveyard, especially now with the addition of Mizuki as well. Next is Shiranui. Shiranui got the Link monster, which isn't very good, but thankfully we also got a new skill that makes it actually worth making and gives the deck a lot more consistency than it had before. And finally, we have the Cyber stuff as well. These new Cyber supports also fall into the category of bad cards released alongside a new skill, making Cyber Synchron a 1-card starter that makes a Synchro monster on its own. Now let's have a look at the individual cards and my recommendations on how many copies you should get. First are the Ultra Rares. I recommend 1 copy of Successor Soul. This card is searchable with an upcoming skill that will be released alongside the box that will basically support both Dark Magician and Blue Eyes. And the skill grabs it from your deck, so you don't need a lot of copies of this card. Next is 1 copy of Tachyon Dragon. This is a boss monster from the extra deck, so you don't really need that many copies. And same with Balerdrock, you don't really need them, even if it's not an extra deck monster, you can still pretty easily mill it with your millers that you have in your zombie decks. And for the super rares, free Unizombie, this card is really good at sending stuff from the deck to the graveyard, like Balerdrock. We have free trade-ins. This card mainly boosts consistencies for a lot of high-level decks, so I'd imagine if you're going to play this card, you probably would want to have free copies. Skill Saga Supremacy, I would say 2 copies is pretty sufficient. You could play with like 1 copy, but I personally think that 2 copies is probably the best. 3 copies of Star Liege Seifert. This is a main searcher in Dragon decks, and if they decide to release Dragon Links in the future, this card will still be good in that. Nebula Dragon is also probably a free off. This card can summon itself plus another guy on field, which makes a rank 8. Mizuki is a 2 off or a 1 off. This card is mainly used in zombies to revive back the zombies for extension or to bring back the boss monsters, and having 2 copies just means that you can just use it twice because it banishes itself. And also, this card is not once per turn, so if you have multiple in your graveyard, you can use all of them. Hyper Galaxy, this card is crazy, so 3 copies. You could also play less if you play the old Galaxy Photon skill that grabs this card from your deck, but because we also have a new Galaxy Photon skill with the box, that skill will probably be the best skill to be used in Galaxy Photon, so playing more copies of Hyper Galaxy will probably be a better idea. Same with Galaxy Soldier, this card is really good at searching your stuff, and playing 3 copies just means that you open with this card more consistently. Cyber Synchron is not from a very good deck. Even with the new skill, I don't think the deck will do a whole lot, but if you decide to play that skill, you will probably want 3 copies of Cyber Synchron. And Quantum Dragon is a 1-off, you don't really need more than 1 copies of this card. And that about wraps it for the card recommendations. Let's have a quick discussion on how I feel about this box. I think this box has a couple of interesting archetypes, but I don't think they will be anything too meta relevant. I think the deck with the most potential is Galaxy Photons and maybe Shiranui's, but the major problem with Shiranui is that we actually don't have the best trap that Shiranui's use, which is Swallow Slash. That card is really good at disrupting your opponent and would be searchable with the new skill, but we don't have that card, so that's really a shame. The new zombie stuff looks pretty good, but I don't think it's worth the resources to bring out your boss monster, because to bring out Balerdrock with its negates, you need a Zombie World and Balerdrock in your graveyard, and that is not particularly easy to do, and especially we don't have a skill for Zombie World, which really hurts the viability of Zombie World decks. And also the Cyber Synchron stuff is playable, but I don't think the skill is good enough to actually make the deck see play. I mean, Fusion Clockup is a deck that exists that is, I think, a lot better than the Synchro skill, but people still don't play Fusion Clockup, so yeah. Anyway, overall, I think the meta impact is not that high, but I do think that zombies could potentially be a pretty fun deck, and also it connects back with the zombie route if you happen to invest in some of the old boxes that contain zombie support, so those players might want to come into this box to get stuff like Mizuki or Unizombie as well. And also, I think this box does have a bit of potential, especially with cards like Seyfert, which is good in Dragon Link. So overall rating, I think this card is like I mean this box is like a 3 out of 5. And you don't really need to spend that much money or gems on this box on release. So yeah, that's it for me, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.